Yo, what's up out there in the interwebs? This is your boy Vaughn B and my man Ricky, and this is the UN podcast. Gotta give us a little bit of applause. Just a little bit.
It's too old already, man. Come on.
What? You can't look, you can't if anybody's gonna give you props, it's gonna be yourself. Right?
Yeah, but at some point gets old. So start it off.
All right, so then what should I?
It was at this moment that he knew.
Oh, I can't do that. Well, I'll come up with something. All right. All right. So, how you doing, man?
So far, so good. I watched the first episode, Dune.
Okay, which just came out today, roughly 6 o'clock our time, 9 o'clock Eastern. We just prior to last week we finished the Penguin. We're getting to that a little bit later, but we're going to talk about since it just came out, we can't really spoil anything. So basically, we can go on about.
No, we have to talk about it. That's the purpose of the show.
All right, but it just came out, dude.
Motivated to watch it.
I know, so we can talk about it, but it just came out. It'd be different. Like we can talk about like the Penguin because it's been out for a week, but this just came out 3 hours ago. So people tend to frown on if you spoil something that just came out.
I mean, actually, you're kind of marketing it, so people don't know about it. You can make them understand what's the. Some people watch the movie but don't understand the whole story.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie though. Through most of this, I was kind of like, I'm missing something. I don't know exactly what it is. In terms of the backstory, it was interesting to basically watch the making of them, kind of these women screwing themselves, pretty much because all their plans go out the window when you get to the Dune movies. So all this scheming and plotting that they have been doing for 10,000 years was for naught. So that was interesting.
Yeah, but basically, it's now that we're living in this world with AI.
Mm-hmm.
So now this is when you watch this series, it's kind of going to the same thing. What they fought the war before this series. It was before the war.
Yeah,
they fought that human took or destroy all the AI because they were being dominated by them, enslaved by them.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes it like how we're dealing with the world right now too. We're going into that future already too.
Yeah, we're at the beginning stages of multiple science fiction movies.
No more critical thinking. We rely everything on AI and stuff like that. And they fought that war to destroy this. So now they're trying to rebuild. I'm not gonna say the whole. I'm just giving a little background. So I'm not gonna say the whole show.
Yeah.
So basically saying like they don't trust no more machines or anything, but at the same time, there are other houses, smaller houses, that are building these other steel machines that even though the emperor don't know.
Yeah. So it was so. All right, try to talk about it without. Essentially, what this show seems to be about is and I cannot remember the name of the group, the ladies. They said it in the thing, and I completely forgot.
Sisterhood, the Benzie, the Benzie Gassafit.
Right. So this is
basically the sisterhood.
Right. So this is the creation of that. So we get to the person who basically starts it, and you get to a point where it looks like they could probably go at the beginning of the show. There's two different directions. Well, you know the direction they're gonna go in, but it's interesting to see.
Direction. There was one direction that was to guide, and then the other one is the direction to take over it.
Right.
They're guiding, but to control everybody.
Right. So you can see how they actually had an option to go either direction. Now we know because this is a prequel to the Dune movies, we know the direction that they wind up going. So that what makes it interesting to see how all this stuff started, because this takes place 10,000 years
before the regular movie Dune.
Right. And given the art direction and all that stuff, it looks like they spent money on this. So it doesn't look like it's cheap.
No, I heard they spent a lot of. It was a big budget, but they haven't said how much, but the actors are good.
Yeah, and all right, I'm trying not to spoil anything, but overall, yes, the actors are good. You get to see the person who is the main and I guess you can call her the antagonist. She could be the protagonist or the antagonist. It's kind of hard to figure out where that's going because there's a mystery of something that happens during the show where it's like, oh, okay, that I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, the mysterious
right,
Desmond Hart,
right. So it's like, and you get
the
it's
mysterious character, kind of
right,
like kind of weird.
right, and you get insight in well, not insight, but it's intriguing because given the little bit that I know of Dune, it's like, okay, so where did this dude come from? Because you know of certain things that certain people can do, and so this was quite unexpected. So like right up until that point, I was kind of like, yeah, it's good, and this show breaks our good show, bad show, good show, bad show thing.
It's
Because
only 6 episodes.
okay, so that means that it should wrap up in terms of the
By the
story
end of the
fairly
year,
quick.
maybe.
Yeah, so that's good. That's good. And that means we should have to be able to watch the Skeleton Crew as well, which is could be good, could be bad. I don't know. So
But you know what, the series also is telling about the sisterhood trying to control, like everything behind the background, right?
right,
It almost sounds like whatever's going on with our politicians and everything too. So
yeah,
kind of
and
watch when you see it. I recommend this show.
mhm.
You kind of understand what what they're doing too.
And the thing about it is you have the people making decisions for other people who are working off the assumption that
So,
they know everything, but there's a lot of stuff going on that they don't know about, and that's what's throwing wrenches in their little plans.
yeah, so what you said, like remember, like AI was controlling them,
Mhm.
and now it's another type of not
Something else,
AI controlling them now.
right?
So it's the
So
mindset like we're being controlled no more by computer, but we're still being controlled.
yes, and what most people want is free will, and people really don't have that for the most part. Like you have in your individual life, but there's lots of schemes going on around you that
Game of Thrones.
dude. So I am looking forward to finishing this, and maybe at some point like we can do a synopsis before we talk like next week to talk about like this episode, because if it wasn't for the fact that this I literally just watched it 2 hours ago, and anybody who watched this probably haven't seen it yet. So I think from what I've seen on other people who do this, like before, like they wait a week before they get into spoilers, unless it's something that they don't think anybody's going to see. But this is
No, some
probably
people do it right after the show. They stream it
yeah,
and then they give their opinion. That's it.
right. So opinion wise, I recommend it. So we won't give away too much. All right. The Penguin though, I have been disappointed in a lot of shows this year that we watch because one, bad writing, all the thing. This one was great writing. Two, for villains, they have a great tendency to try to humanize the villain and make you feel sorry for them. And for a lot, this show gave the impression that they were going to do that, and then it's like as soon as you think it's like, all right, they're gonna try to make him an anti-hero kind of thing. Nope. Then you go, okay, all right, so he's a villain. Like, okay, but he's not that bad. And then it's something else. It's like, okay, maybe he is that bad. And the ending of this show was like, whoa, this dude, man, he is he fits right in with Batman's rogues gallery in terms of being crazy.
You talking about when he killed Vic?
Right. Cause the way that they were going, like he was like,
But I understood why he killed him.
no, I understand why I got why he did it, but what I mean is like a lot of shows they wouldn't have done that. like because the way that they set Vic up like he was going to be if they did a second season that he was going to be, we was going to see him go into his villain arc or whatever because he was heading that direction. And it's like, no.
But the reason is he killed him was because he seen there was weakness. He didn't have any because they went after his mom.
Mm-hmm.
So his mom died. So now that he admired Vic a lot, they knew they were gonna go after him. So he'd rather just kill him, so you don't have to worry about any weaknesses.
Well,
right?
Not really. Plus the fact that, all right, do you remember I was telling you like this book that I read a while ago, and they were talking about telling stories, and the dude was doing it from the aspect of pointing out how the brain works. And one of the things that they were saying in the book was everyone, in terms of how your memories work, is you make yourself the hero in whatever you remember. So you will reshape reality so that you do not see yourself in a bad light. So the Penguin is a sociopath who was a sociopath from a kid. Instead, like the previous episode, when you found out that he set up the things to make for his brothers to die.
Right? Yeah, he wanted all the attention with his mom.
Right, because he was very needy. And he was needy and jealous, but he liked his brothers, but it was like a weird thing. And then so what you saw in the previous episode was from his point of view, what happened with his mother. This episode, you get to see from her point of view, how she knew for a fact that he did what he did and she was going to kill his ass.
Mm-hmm.
So even at the end,
and she hid it all this time too.
Right. And she hated his guts, man. And it's like she wanted to kill him. She just, for whatever reason, she didn't do it. And she's been living with that. And the fact that she told him that this disease is killing me and I do not want to be stuck like this. And he's such a psychotic person. He is more concerned about his own happiness than the well-being of anybody else. So like the last thing she wanted was to be in a vegetative state, stuck in her body and just living that life. But because he promised her that she was going to have the penthouse with the view of the city and all that, and it reminded me of the like the actual stories of genies, like the jinn, where you wish for something and the genie has evil intent, so he will give it to you, but it will be like really bad. You're like, I wish for $1 million, and then the genie will give it to you, but come to find out that your dad just signed a $1 million life insurance thing, and he gets killed, so you get the $1 million because your dad died. So you get the $1 million, but something really bad happens to you to get it.
Yeah, because at the end, where she was already like a vegetable. Yeah, just had her in the penthouse looking at through the window.
Right. So he did fulfill his promise to her. So he feels better about himself. She's stuck.
Yeah, she's just a vegetable.
Yeah, she's aware of her surrounding. That's why she started crying. Mm-hmm. And he just tells himself that she's happy. It's like, no, your mother is not happy, dude. And then the fact, like, Vic gave up the love of his life, and he could have had a nice, normal life. And so I'm not sure when he decided he was going to kill Vic. It's like, did he decide in that moment, or he knew all, like, when Vic got to the point where he didn't need him anymore, he's going to kill him. So that makes it even worse, because that means he knew that he gave up what he gave up. He knew how much this was changing Vic. He knew all of this stuff, and he still. That's why I went in off. I was like, dude. And then the fact that his prostitute girlfriend was pretending to be his mother, so that she was telling him. So I was like, whoa, dude. Like, wow. Like, how they portrayed the Penguin in previous things, he's always was goofy. He was kind of goofy. Even like in like different cartoons, he was still more goofy. He didn't come across as this much of a psychotic person. It's like they
made this movie more like a mafia movie.
Right. And so it would, just like how Dune Prophecy made me look forward to episode 2, how it ended and how they're just kind of laying bread like what's the word I'm looking for?
Teasers.
Yeah, so they're giving you breadcrumbs to lead you into like, all right, so what's actually going to happen by having what happened at the end of the show happen and no explanation, no how this happened and none of this stuff. And it's like, okay, same thing. It's like because the same person who did like the Batman movie, the first one, is the Matt Reeves is the executive producer of this. So if you put this much effort into this TV show about a secondary character that most people didn't know, they know of him as again like a comical, like Danny DeVito walking around in the back.
Yeah.
Right. So he made that dude into a sociopath. I'm like, wow, I can't wait till the Batman 2 comes out because hopefully you put as much effort into that as you did into this.
Plus, the actor was Colin Farrell. I think he did a great job.
Oh yeah. Shame that since this is a comic booky thing, he's probably not going to get nominated for anything. But it was really good.
Yeah,
and
but I mean, he's been. This one kind of made him like where he was like a good actor.
Yeah, very much so. And he did all of this through all that makeup and limping around and doing all this stuff where everything was believable. Like the way he walked was believable, dude. Because like I said, the Penguin was always comical. Even like, do you remember the Adam West show?
No, not that one.
Yeah, you don't remember that? Okay. Well, the Adam West, he used to walk around with a like little tuxedo on and smoking a cigar. He had the umbrellas that shot bullets or whatever. And yeah, it was comic relief. That's just what it was. So like he made dude a character that was pretty much comic relief in most things that he was in into a terrifying crazy person who flies off the handle. But he is the fact that he was dressed in the tuxedo at the end and like remember the politician told him is like basically gave him the idea is like if you come around here you got to look presentable. You can't look like a bum. Right?
Yeah.
So that means that he took him up on his word and made himself presentable. So he has a public face to go with his craziness. And from what I saw, this takes place in like a few months. Like after the movie. So like right after the movie, this takes place because this happens right after the movie and it goes right before like it hasn't even started snowing. And so in Gotham yet. So it's like a few months while all this stuff happens. So his character goes from being a goon, because that's basically what he was. He was like, he had some power, but not really, to mob boss in a few months through
Yeah,
plotting
because
and
in the
scheming.
first movie, the Penguin, didn't he was like found by penguins, like in the river, like in the zoo or something?
Yeah.
They left the baby.
Yeah, it was he was deformed and
Someone abandoned it and rode to like the zoo where the penguin were at.
yeah, something like that. So like I said, comic relief. This dude would beat the shit out of Danny DeVito's Penguin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so and I was like, and I was talking with Elton. Oh yeah, Elton is not gonna be able to make it today. But I was talking to Elton about this. I'm like, if you're gonna do a villain show, this is how you do a villain show. Where he is a villain. He is not, this is not no he's misunderstood. I'm like, no, everybody kind of understands him.
Yeah, then when he took Sophia and Sophia thought she was gonna get killed.
Mm-hmm.
So he told Sophia, you're gonna go to hell. Rather than killed her, he sent her back to her jail cell where she was in hell.
Right. But they set something up for something else to happen.
Mm-hmm.
She got some information and she started smiling. And so, but they don't tell you what it is. They don't show you what it is. But she's
It looks like it's
smiling.
a season 2.
Right. So, hey, can't wait. I don't know how much. I don't. If that's why I'm high hopes for Dune because the first episode was good. and hopefully that breaks the little thing we had where good, bad, good, bad, 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 good. So I don't know. Maybe Skeleton Crew would disappoint. All right, man. Well, one of the other things on the Star Wars Rey movie.
I'm gonna talk about that boringness thing, man.
Well, only the fact that it got moved, and it got moved because of they're turning. It's like a weird thing where they have decided that she is the only profitable character that they have. I'm serious. They said that she is the most profitable character that they have, which to anybody who knows anything about Star Wars is BS because it means they're completely, even after every failure, they're completely still ignoring the extended universe of all those other characters. If they actually think that she is the only one that they can make money with,
I
because
don't think they think. I think it's only Kathleen Kennedy thinks that she's the one. I don't think nobody else.
well, that is that is very true. So it's just like a little thing that they're making an Ice Age 6. What the? Oh, I cannot wait to get another computer. I got so many things open that every time I touch anything, my entire screen goes black. I can't see anything. It's like it's thinking about it. All right. All right. Yeah, it's good. Instead of the Star Wars movie from 2026, is going to be Ice Age 6. Did you watch any of the other previous Ice Age movies?
I don't even remember that.
It's it's Ray Romano as a woolly mammoth. Um and
Is it like cartoon?
yeah. So
I
instead
think I
of
remember it, but I just don't remember it no more.
right, so instead of a Star Wars movie, it's gonna have that instead. So that just shows you the state of Disney right now. Um,
So what is that about Kathleen Kennedy? Is she staying, or they give her an extension, or what? Because her
I don't know.
contract expire.
I don't know,
That
dude.
tells me that she's staying, huh?
Yeah, because this is 2026 when this movie was supposed to come out. So they're gonna put Ice Age 6. So at best, maybe it's 2027. So and there's a list somebody made. All right, the film lost greater than President Kathleen Kennedy said last year's Star Wars celebration that Ridley's new film would follow Rey. Okay. It wouldn't be the first time a potential entry into the beloved space opera for ending before it began. New installments from director Patty Jenkins and Kevin Feige. All right, so the next Star Wars movie, The Mandalorian, Grogu, director Jon Favreau, scheduled for premiere in May of 2026, and they had something untitled for 2027, and it just says how they're gonna put out Ice Age 6. You think anybody's gonna be any kind of interested in anything Star Wars in 2026 or 2027 or whatever the hell this thing comes out?
No.
It's like, dude, I don't understand why they just don't. Why would you just keep doing the exact same thing over and over and over again, hoping somehow, somewhere that people like you will come out with a hit, even when you have proven over and over and over again that you cannot do this.
Oh God, cause she don't care. She's rich. She just thinks she just lives in the bubble.
Yeah, but how? Like that is a still in case bubble.
She's already complaining, cursing out the fans. So it's like it's useless to even talk about it because whatever she wants to do is gonna be done. Nobody's gonna do nothing to her. Most likely, because more likely she's powerful. Her husband's powerful in Hollywood, so they're not gonna do anything to her.
All right. Okay. Wow. All right. Well, they have another one of the things I want to talk about. There are a few Marvel rumors. One of which is Blade. You may be seeing a Wesley Snipes Blade sooner than you think. Would you be interested in that?
Yeah, Wesley's night comes out. Yeah, I'll go watch it.
All right. So when Hugh Jackman and all right. Joining Elektra. So if they give any information with Mahershala, I can never say this dude's name right. Set to take over role. Upcoming Marvel Studio reboot. The project is recently taken off Marvel slate. Still said to be very much alive. It was assumed that Snipes' return was more likely a one-off, but Scooper MTTSH is now reporting that the original big screen day worker will be back sooner than we think. The Snipe is going to reprise the role. A massive multi-universal event like the Avengers Secret Wars would seem to be the most logical movie. So perhaps in the plans to bring him back for an earlier project, we have heard that it might be something between Doomsday and Secret Wars, but that's about all we have to go on for the time being. If I was them, I would greenlight a Elseworld type old man Blade. Have him have something to do with like where the vampires have taken over, and he is like on his last leg, and he's fighting his last fight. That would probably be interesting. One, you can incorporate the fact that Wesley Snipes is not a young man anymore. So then you can, just like how you did with Logan, you can give him a proper send off. So that way he's dead or whatever you're going to do. Then when you do the reboot, you got a whole new Blade. It's like a whole new story you can tell. That would be interesting. That's probably not what they're going to do, though.
No, right? I'm pretty sure they have their own plans.
Yeah, but like this probably is going to be something stupid. It's going to be like some. They're already going into this multiverse thing with Spider-Man.
They'll make her daughter the new Blade or something.
Dude, that's what they were trying to do. That's why it was pissing the guy that they have off. Because like, why would I want to be in this movie if it's not even? It's like everybody wants a Blade movie. You can't seem to make this. It's a very easy movie to make. It's a dude who knows kung fu and has swords and bullets and fights vampires. Very simple. Just like Pacific Rim. Did you ever saw that?
Yeah, but I don't remember that much about it.
It made my 10-year-old self very happy. It was giant robots fighting giant monsters. Plot doesn't matter. Sometimes you have to just make that kind of movie, because especially like now, most people would love to have a turn your brain off, go watch it kind of movie. You just sit there, get your popcorn, and it's just a bunch of lights hitting you in the face for about an hour and a half. You stop thinking about your bills. You stop thinking about significant others and all that kind of stuff. You just enjoy it. And nice little reprise. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there's that is one rumor. There's another one about Spider-Man, I think. Okay, here's one about Sony is still trying to do the Spider-Verse thing. So even though Venom is doing okay and all the other ones didn't do all that great. So Kraven the Hunter coming out. I heard that that's supposed to be not too bad. Sony Pictures is for Spider-Man, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, and Spider Noir TV series on the way. I've seen stuff from that. It is what's the dude name? Nick Cage. So the costume looks right. The costume basically looks like how it does in the cartoon. So that should be interesting. I don't know exactly what that's going to be shown on, but all right. Okay. Critical commercial performances of Morbius and Madam Web likely won't have help matters. Let's see if there's said it was supposed to be a list. Come on, give me a list. Why are you lying to me? Okay, so there is no list. All right, remember the time Tony Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, Spider-Man 2099. Put on ice. Oh, and dude just lied. I thought it was supposed to be some kind of list.
So what's it trying to make regarding Spider-Man?
No, the article looked like it was they had like some kind of list of some of the stuff that they were trying to do. All right, so one of the ones they wanted to do was Jessica Drew Spider Woman, so a Spider Woman movie, and they wanted to do Marvel 2099, which basically is a Spanish Spider Man from the future, which could probably be interesting. He's the guy in the Spider Verse, the second Spider Verse movie, who's chasing Miles Morales around.
Mm-hmm.
So a live action version of that. So he is a guy in the future. It's like 100 years in the future or whatever, because that's when he was like they did that. 1999, I think they did the 2099 series where it was like Ghost Rider 2099 and such and such. So it was like 100 years into the future kind of thing.
And that's a movie, right?
Right. So that was some of the stuff that they were talking about doing. The Sinister Six. They dropped a hint in at the end of the second Andrew Garfield movie. Like at the end, they showed like a bunch of their costumes. So the Doc Ock, the Vulture. This is before they put those like they had Doc Ock already, but it was like another one in Andrew Garfield's universe. So you got to see the Rhino in his universe, and they showed somebody else, I think. The Sandman was in his universe, so they did the Rhino, Sandman, and they showed like Dr. Octopus's tentacles, and they showed the Vulture's wings. So he's gonna have his own like. So I guess if that movie would have made enough money, then they would have probably did the Sinister Six. Then they hinted at it a little bit in Tom Holland's movies. So they're supposed to do like a universal thing with the fourth Spider-Man, which is the beginning of the new trilogy. So what they're probably going to do is a new trilogy, and then that'll be it for Tom Holland, because that'll be 6. He'll be
they're gonna replace him.
Yeah, he'll be like mid-30s at that point, and everything says that they're leaning towards Miles Morales. So they're gonna go complete Miles. No more Peter Parker. It'll be Miles Morales. So probably what they'll do is introduce him somehow in the second Spider-Man movie, because they've already introduced his uncle, the Prowler.
Mm.
So that was introduced in the second Spider-Man, like Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. Essentially, he was trying to find something, and that's when he did that thing with Donald Glover, and he used his web to stick him to the car, and he was saying something about how his nephew was a big fan of Spider-Man. So if you understand like how the comics and all that, you know that he was the Prowler, which is Miles Morales' uncle. So they kind of dropped him that Miles Morales does exist in Tom Holland's universe. So when they did the second Spider-Verse, they also had Donald Glover in Spider-Verse. So everything was cartoons, and then like, you know how they were capturing variants. So everybody was cartoons, and then you saw Donald Glover in the Prowler costume as a regular person in the cartoon, but he was like a human.
Danny Glover.
Yeah, no,
The actor.
No, he'd be a little too old. But Donald Glover, yeah. So he was in Spider-Verse movie too. So they had 2 Prowlers. They had him as a live action Prowler in a cartoon, which was interesting. And at the end of the movie, they had the Miles Morales Prowler version of him. And then the movie just stops. Yeah, it looked like, all right. So it looked like they were going to do either a really long movie, and for whatever reason, they decided to do 2 movies, and they couldn't figure out how to end it properly. So they just stopped it. So the movie just cuts off. So it's like, for the most part, the movie is cool till you get to the ending. The ending is like, it just stops, and the credits come on. It's like, what the? It's like, this is not how you. Yeah, and then they still haven't finished the next part. So by the time the next part comes out, it'll be like 2 years or something like that. 2 or 3 years. So I don't know. I don't know. It's how they've been doing this stuff is kind of interesting, I guess. So you look very interested in what I'm talking about. Not
Not
really.
really. I mean, I don't
Uh,
think I don't think we are talking about this Spider-Man right now.
so you just completely over Marvel.
Not for right now. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really interesting. It's basically right now dead. So I
Okay.
see some hope, but right now it's not really nothing that intrigues me to talk about it.
Well, they have
And
basically
not
what they
that,
have.
I mean, the only last one was Wolverine and Deadpool. That's the only good one, but after that, it's nothing else.
Well, because they have basically put themselves into a weird corner where they still have to release like stuff. So like the Agatha, some people liked it, some people didn't like it.
I didn't even
I don't.
watch that.
No, hardly anybody did, but Marvel talking about it like people did. But every time everybody I've seen talk about it kind of trashes it, except for like your alphabet community type stuff. So they liked it, but I don't know. I have no idea. The ratings weren't great, so I'll be happy when we get to truthfulness again. Where like right now you can't believe nothing because everyone just basically just makes shit up. So it's like,
That's the world we live in right now.
yeah, I know, but dude, I'm ready to be done with that, man. Because I have no idea how how good or bad that damn show did. Because it's like it amounts to if you like the direction that Marvel is going in, then so this person is blowing smoke up your butt. And then if you don't like the direction Marvel's going in, then you're constantly complaining about it. So I'm like, I have no idea what the reality of this thing is.
Yeah, but you have to watch it too.
Mm. You don't want to watch it, so why
No,
would
but
you
I'm
think?
saying if you should watch it at least if you like it or not, rather than people's opinion.
Yeah. Um, from what I saw and my complete lack of interest from the character when she was on Wanda, I have no desire to watch this because there is nothing that I don't think there's anything they could have actually done to make this character more intriguing to me. And the little bit that I've seen, no, I'm good. I don't need to. So the next thing out the pipe is Ironheart. Like that's not going to be good.
Yeah, that's another one I'm not even gonna watch.
Yeah, because it's a character hardly anybody's heard of. She was in a movie hardly like not as many people went to go see as Marvel would like, and it's based off a comic book nobody read.
How
So it's
about
like
Venom? Is it doing good in theaters?
it's made $403 million. The last time I saw, I don't know
Okay.
if that's good or bad because I don't know how much. I think it's bad because from what I am remembering that it cost like 200 million to make, so that's not good.
I mean,
But
I watched the movies, but
mhm.
it's okay. I'm nothing that's gonna intrigue me to go run to the theaters to watch it.
Right. So the first one I enjoyed. The second one it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It wasn't like spectacular, but it wasn't terrible. And I can't imagine that this one would not have been. It'd probably be like that, kind of like like the Fast and the Furious movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
Well, they should put Venom with Spider-Man, huh?
yeah, because then it will make sense.
Yeah,
But
make it
they
more interesting where it's like both of them together fighting, these other villains, stuff like that.
would if they would have did what they like if they would have did what they should have done based off the actual Spider-Man story, he would have got the suit, he would have wore the suit, and he would have had to fight the suit off when he realized what it was, and then you would have had sprinkled through that. And they kind of did that in the first Amazing Spider-Man, like the one with the first three, like the
Mhm.
third one, they did that to a degree, but they didn't really do it very well because they had too many villains in that movie. But that's they told that story how both Venom and Eddie Brock hated Peter Parker. So that's why I made this didn't make as much sense, because you didn't have the element of Spider-Man, although he had Spider-Man's powers, even though Spider-Man didn't really exist in his universe. So that just made it weird. But no, it's this is what happens when you cherry pick stories, because in order to do that, you got to have.
I mean,
all
I
the
didn't
other.
really thought they should have made Venom 3. You think so? I was like,
They probably made enough
22,
money.
that's it.
Well, they probably made enough money to sort of justify it, and Sony is trying to do their Spider-Verse thing. So that's why it's also has, for them to keep the rights, they have to do something Spider related. So they can't keep cranking out Spider-Man movies, so they got to do other stuff. So they got to take bits and pieces from Spider-Man universe and make a movie about it. So if they do that every year, regardless of how much money that they make from the movie, they retain the rights. So then they get the bulk of the money when they do a Spider-Man movie. So they may not make that much money on Venom. They may lose money on Madam Web and Morbius, and probably going to lose money on Kraven the Hunter. But they're going to make $1 billion when the Spider-Man 4 comes out, and they get the most of that money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if they don't make enough stuff to justify them having the license, then Marvel will take the license back, like immediately. So it's kind of a thing where they have to kind of do it, kind of thing where they have to do it. So they got to keep putting out crap that people are kind of like over, but it allows them to maintain the license.
But who owns Spider-Man? You said Sony, right?
Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man in movies. Marvel owns the rights to Spider-Man and everything else.
Oh, okay.
But there seems to be some kind. I don't know what the license, the merchandise stuff, how it breaks out. So I don't know if Sony gets the rights to the Spider-Man like movie license stuff. So maybe they get a cut from that. But everything else, Marvel gets. But it gets weird because if you go to like Universal in Florida, there's a Marvel zone. So they have like Captain America and Spider-Man and all that stuff in the Marvel zone in Universal.
How about Venom? Is that with Sony, right?
Right. Everything that's connected to Spider-Man, they have the rights to.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, that's why I said they were going to do like a whole the Sinister Six. That's why they're doing Kraven the Hunter. So all that stuff is tied to that. And it's the same thing with Miles Morales. Well, I don't know. Miles Morales might be a weird thing because while he's tied to Spider-Man, that's where it gets weird. So like the license stuff gets weird like that. It's like with Superman. The people who created Superman it's the logo, how the logo is, the color scheme, his backstory, like him, and certain other aspects that they created. But if they change the character a little bit, then DC has the rights to that. So that's why they were pushing his son, like being like, so he was going like the new Superman. That's why you got Miles Morales. So that's why all the licensed stuff is weird. It's like if you change it a little bit where it's close to it, you get the rights to that character.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really weird, and that factors in a lot into why they do the stuff that they do. So he's like, why? Like, so when you're wondering why these companies are doing the stuff that they're doing, that's why. And then it's gonna get crazier. I was telling you before about public domain, and I think another decade or so, Superman goes into public domain. So that's another reason why they created another Superman.
When it means public domain, that means that anybody could use it?
Right. So if you want to write a Zorro book, like a Zorro movie, yeah, you could do it because it's in public domain.
Yeah.
Tarzan, anything that's over 100 years old. So like
no more copyright or anything like that.
Right. So the copyright only lasts around 100 years. You can do some stuff to extend it, but it's usually around 100 years. And it's the reason why all of a sudden you got Winnie the Pooh like horror movies. I don't know what it is with people who when they do public domain they want to do freaking horror movies. I have no. I
What do
don't
you
know.
mean that Winnie the Pooh?
Yes, there's a Winnie the Pooh horror movie. There's a Steamboat Willie, which is the first incarnation of Mickey Mouse. That went in the public domain, and the first thing someone made was a shooter thing where Steamboat Willie is going around murdering people. Again, I don't know why people do that, but that's what they do. And you have the right to do it because of the public domain stuff. So at some point, like Batman is going to be in public domain. It's going to be the exact same stuff. But it applies to the original Batman. So maybe not the later incarnations of Batman, but like the original one. So the one we had like little gloves on and he used to walk around with a gun. He had the little Batmobile. You shoot people and shit. So yeah, that. So if you like say you create a character, it becomes huge or whatever, your family has the rights to it for about 100 years. So that like your grandkids, but then that also gets to be weird because the Lord of the Rings is I don't know how old that is.
So basically, you don't get no more money off it.
No. It's something that's baked into the copyright, I think.
Oh,
so that you only have it like 100 years.
To try to get as much money as possible before it ends.
Right. And so what a lot of them are doing is they'll shelve it. So once it get like really close, that's why you don't see a lot of Mickey Mouse stuff as much. So they'll shelve it so it'll get it out of the public's eye kind of thing. And they'll create a new thing. And then they'll push their new thing. It's like this is the new whatever. And they'll kind of push the other thing to the background. And these companies do this shit all the time. Like when Fox had the rights to the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Marvel Comics basically stopped writing comic books with their most popular team, which is the X-Men. They started pushing this other team called the Inhumans. People didn't like it that much. So when they got the rights back, they just stopped talking about the Inhumans because the only reason they were pushing up the Inhumans was because they didn't really have the right in the movies to the mutants.
Oh, okay.
All right. So speaking of which, another thing is so you know the Fantastic Four movie that's coming out, right?
Yeah, I heard about it.
All right. So
it is this year or next year?
They're filming it now, so it should be next year. But all right. Shows it. Here it is. So instead of like they cast most of it correctly, except for like the I think Ben Grimm is Indian, I think, instead of a Jewish white guy from the Bronx. So, and they're also Julie Garner is the female Silver Surfer in the first steps. Shala Ball, which was basically Silver Surfer. He became a Silver Surfer because Galactus was going to destroy his planet, and he didn't want to see his the love of his life, Shala Ball, die. So he gave up his life to become the Silver Surfer so that he would spare his planet and her. So in this version of the Fantastic Four, all right. So set against the retro futuristic world, Marvel Studios, Fantastic Four, first steps introducing Marvel's first family, Reed Richards, Sue Storm, John Storm, and Ben Grimm, as they face the most daunting challenge yet, forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strength in their family bond. They must defend the Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus. His ignorant magnet herald, Silver Surfer, Julia Garner. If Galactus was to devour the entire planet and everyone on it, we'd be bad enough, but suddenly it gets personal. So essentially, they're gonna do they created in this around the time they were gonna do this thing, all this Marvel first stuff when they race changed and sex changed everybody. They made a female version of Silver Surfer. I don't think this is a time period to be doing that, but that's the route that they're going to go for. So
that's why I told you it's something with Marvel.
Well, The thing about all of this, and see if they actually talk about her. Okay. Soon after he made, so I guess we are committed to telling stories that reflect the world around us and using those stories to entertain stories from all walks of life. This is Bob Iger. By telling great stories, continue to have positive impact on the world and inspire future generations. As we're down for 100 years, Disney has always been and will continue to be a source for hope, joy, and optimism for people of all ages. He ended his saying, but we know our job is not to advance any kind of agenda. So as long as I'm on the job, I'm going to continue to be guided by a sense of decency and respect. And we always trust our instincts. And given how the missteps that they've been having lately, their instincts are crap. But all this stuff is greenlit 3 years in advance, 2 or 3 years in advance. So when they greenlit it, it was under the impression that everybody was down for all of this stuff. The craziest thing about what's happening now is even at Disney, because of the election, everyone, like the results for the election, everyone is trying to get rid of all this woke stuff as fast as they can. They're talking about like The View. Everyone on The View hates Donald Trump, even the Republican ones. So they're trying to find someone who actually likes Donald Trump and sticking them onto The View. So this is like Disney doing all of this stuff. So it's going to be interesting as they're at the same time doing that stuff. They're releasing all these projects that they've been making for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, but I think just for a short term time, and they'll go back to it.
I don't know, because I think it's starting to
see. You think that's a lot of stuff that's gonna change, but I already, like I told you, a lot of stuff that's gonna be the same.
No, the reason why I'm saying that, I'm not saying that they're gonna change because they had some kind of enlightenment. I'm saying that it's going to change just from the strict business sense of it. Is the one thing that everyone has found out, that the country is way more conservative than they actually thought. So even if all of the stuff that's been failing, all the games and movies and TV shows and all the crap that nobody's watching, didn't get them to change their mind because they was able to, just like Kathleen Kennedy exists in a bubble. You know, people telling her what she wants to hear, and it doesn't matter how much stuff is failing. This shocked their ass so much that they were like, "Oh crap! Well, shit." So that's like they're putting the fact that you're pushing all this stuff and it's shoving people in not in the direction that they wanted to shove them in, because that's why he was talking like that, is how they want to change the world. I'm like, they're changing the world. They're just changing it in direction that they don't want it to go in. So that's going to cause them to stop, because
that's why I get credit a lot for HBO Max. So far, the stuff they've been doing there, they've been pretty good.
Yeah, so the people who run it seems to understand. Now there's some stuff on there that, but it's not pushed. So even if they do a little bit, it's like with the Game of Thrones stuff. It's like, yeah, they changed the rates of 2 of the. Like,
I don't mind that, as long as it's a good story.
No, but that's what I'm saying. They changed the race of these group in that show, but they never emphasized that.
You're talking about House of Dragon, right?
Right. So they never emphasized that in the show.
There was a reason for that.
What?
The writer, they said, so you'll know who they are. So it's not basically about race. It just made them black, so you kind of like understand
the difference.
Who they are, the Valerians.
Right. But the good thing about it though is that they don't emphasize that, and that's what, to be honest, most people want. It's like, all right, so you change this, fine. I may or may not like it. But if you don't go black, blackity, black throughout the entire stuff, people, they don't care nearly as much.
Yeah.
It's like what's the name of that shit? The pirate thing that's based off the anime. I can't remember top of my head.
The pirate? Which pirate?
No, One Piece. So One Piece that came out on Netflix, right? One of the characters is a non-binary chick, right? In the comic or in the anime, it's a little dude, it's a boy. But they got someone who's clearly a girl playing what's supposed to be a guy. But the way that they played it, it's not overt. It's just kind of like an odd choice in terms of who you casted. But the way that this person acts, it's not like they're telling everyone every 5 minutes that what they are.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
right. So
Like
people
Star
are
Wars. In
right.
Star
Yeah,
Wars,
it's
they
like
made it. They brought the pronouns. In
right.
Star Wars, you never say he or she.
Hit you over this head, and then like with the Star Wars Outlaws games, like the C-3PO robot, who's always had kind of this
No,
samey voice, has a distinct girl voice, and they distinctly tell you that the Jawa that you're talking to is a female. When this was never an issue of, like, far as I know, they was all, I don't know what they were, because it never
they're
was
all
brought up.
aliens. That's it.
Right. So it was never brought up. But the fact that you made sure that you told me that this was a woman, and it's like, it just takes me out of the game. It's like,
They
what
always
do I?
named them by their planet, who they
Right.
were, not
Yeah.
he or she.
Yeah, it's like, and if they did he or she, they look distinctly different when you can just tell visually. It didn't telling like, it's like the Twi'leks. Yeah, the Twi'leks males look like this, the females look like this. That's it. But with the
Yeah.
Jawas, it's just like you can't really tell because they keep completely covered. It's like the sand people. They have female sand people. I don't. You can't really tell because it's the way that they dress. So they never bring it up. That you just kind of like, okay, I'm assuming that there's a female of the species or something like that, right? Now the Huts are switch back and forth, but they're aliens. So as long as you don't do that, where you just stop in the acolyte to tell me that the little fur dude is a they them for no reason, it's like, why did I need to know that? And then you don't ever say that anymore at any other point of the show. It or whatever they them whatever it is just running around. So you only bring it up once for no reason when you like, why did I need to know that? Other than you wanted to tell me.
Yeah, they're like their own agenda.
Right. So it's a lot of factors are going to go into how I think that there's going to be some now a lot of change. I don't know, but there's going to be some change based off the virtue of one. There was a lot of celebrities pushing one candidate as opposed to the other one, and it didn't move the needle at all for the one candidate. So it's a lot of stuff that was revealed. It's like, okay, people don't care about as much about these celebrities as the celebrities think that they do. And just like, okay, so once you
Yeah, but I mean, after this election, now I see where it's not really the president in charge. So I can tell already how everything's going now.
yeah, so
They pick who they want to control. So
yeah. So, but
I mean, either one, it doesn't matter who won, they were still gonna be under control. So it just they'll pick people so whoever the higher up, whoever they are, they control them.
Well, not to get too political.
I know we're going to on politics here.
No, I'm talking to politics from the aspect of you can lie to yourself to a certain point, but at some point you get enough evidence to tell you the contrary of what you believe. And that's what I'm getting at. It's like, because the layoffs all over the place. There's a lot of stuff that's happening right now. And it's all because a bunch of people's eyes were open. So there was a lot of stuff that was happening prior to this where it's still doing it in some aspects. I'm like, but we're in a recession. They can say that is not as much as they want to, but people have less discretionary money to float around. So therefore, you got to do more to get them to give you their money. And what I keep saying is, people want to give you money. You just got to give them a reason to do so. So they're starting to not listen to these green-haired crazy people who work for them.
Yeah, I mean, so far HBO's the one that been doing the most.
Right. So you can look at what works, because that's definitely what works. Now I have no idea how well Dune Prophecy is going to do, and we'll see how many people talk about it or whatever. Because that's the thing that sucks about YouTube is if you get a good show and you talk about a good show, people aren't that interested in you talk about a good show. They're more interested in you talking shit about a bad show. It's just kind of how it works. So it's like, as great as the Penguin was, that's why most of the people who talk about these things, they kind of talk about it briefly because it was good. You should watch it.
I don't know. I don't know what YouTube you're watching. Every time I'm watching is when the show is done, they start talking about the whole episode.
No, they got some that do.
It's all over YouTube. There are people that get right after it's done, they watch it, they give their opinion, what's going on, what do you think? It's all over YouTube. So I don't know what YouTube you're watching.
No, I'm like the ones that I've Maybe seen.
The one you watch, but every time I check my phone, it's like pop up. Everybody's what's the guy what's that dude, the neurotic?
Yeah,
they do a show right away, right after it's done. They're already talking about it.
Yeah, some aspects
A lot of people, but not just like only a little bit. A lot of them.
No, I've seen a lot
It's
where
kind
they
of encourage you so you can watch it. That's my opinion.
And I've also seen where they don't like, and I've seen like what Friday Night Tights. Basically, they were talking about I think they were talking about the Penguin. They didn't really go into spoilers, like movies, because there was like a movie that just came out it came out in, I think it hadn't come out yet in America, and the two people who saw it already, they just kind of talked about their basic opinion of it. So I guess it really depends. Now you can do a dedicated show to it. I'm just more concerned about like giving spoilers 2 hours after the show came out. That kind of thing. It's like at least wait a day or so. But I don't know. We can always.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it the next day too. So it's all. Yeah. You're also promoting the show too.
Yeah. So I don't know, but that's kind of all I wanted to talk about today. And I agreed to go to work tomorrow. So as soon as we're done with this, I have to go to bed. Whereas you get to sleep in, I get to go. Not only do I get to go tomorrow early, the state is coming. So that's going to be fun. Yeah. So I'm going to try my best to hide and just do my job in the room and avoid as much people as possible. But that is thing. I just think pretty much everybody I wanted to cover, because I talked about the Marvel rumors. We talked a little bit about the Penguin, Dune Prophecy, the fact that they pushed Star Wars back, and we've been at this about an hour. So, anything you want to add to our discussions for today?
No, just I recommend go watch it. Max, if you have it. If not, subscribe for it, HBO, and watch it. It's pretty good.
All right. Well, I can't say anything better than that. So, all right.